Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a good day today. I'm going to take apart the new XM with the working finish, the custom 3-inch. Want to take it apart, see what's inside. Never taken it apart before. See if I can do this quickly without wasting too much time. Pretty much want to see what it looks like on the inside. Let's see if there's any metal shavings in the washers. The pivot is very loose, no tools needed. Feels gritty, you can hear it too. If you guys hear some sounds in the background, that's just my wife watching some video on her iPad, so don't mind that. Wow, there's no Loctite on threads. I think this is the first Hinderer I've gotten with no Loctite. Small black G10 scale. Oops. I should have taken it apart with the knife open. Alright, I think the washer is on the other side. So they sandblasted and stone washed the liners too. And I don't really see any metal shavings, just a few little speckles, not much. There's a little bit on that side, not too much. I'm not going to worry about that. See, the inside of the handle is stone washed, sandblasted. Take the pivot out. I make sure I put my screws and my pins and everything. They always go on the same spot when I put it back together. These are hard to get off sometimes. Oops, there goes number 2. I gotta mark these. Here's pin number 2. I'll take a tungsten inscriber and I'll make 2 little marks, so when I put it back together I know that this goes in the second hole. This will be number 3, so it gets 3 marks. Number 1, you have to take the pocket clip off first, so I could probably do that. The small washer goes on the lock side, the larger washer is on the non-lock side. Careful not to bend those. And you'll need a Phillips head for the pocket clip, a Phillips number 1 to be exact. What the? This is like the first pocket clip that would not come off by itself. It's almost like a a Chris Reeve clip that you have to move around just to get it to come out because the tolerances were so tight. Looks like they must be getting better. This is number 1. And this pin is also number 1. Number 2. Number 3. I hate OCD sometimes. Alright. So I hope this lock bar stabilizer is made out of titanium so I can anodize it. That filler tab doesn't fit in there right. There's a gap on the right side. So I'm going to get another filler tab and see. Yep. Put a new filler tab in there and fills the gap. So actually all I had to do was flip over the filler tab, because when I put it in this way there's a gap there, but when I flipped it over there was no gap. And when you look at it this way, you can see that it's angled. So one side is the normal size and then the other side I got angled that way, so it's creating a gap. See, they did sandblast the lock face and the detent ball. I'm surprised they didn't protect it before sandblasting, but that's how they chose to do it. So I put the pivot in here. I do this with all my knives. When I take them apart, I put the pivot in there and I see how much it can wobble around. And this one's actually very tight. This one's just like an Namzan or a Sebenza. Very solid, no wiggle. There's a little bit. I mean, all of them are going to have just a little bit. This one's like the least out of most of my Hinderers that I get. Could be because it's brand new. I mean, if you want to keep those tolerances matched up, the surface of the inside of the pivot and the pivot itself need to be very smooth with no machine marks. And since that's a sandblasted surface in here, it's going to wear down the pivot pretty quickly, especially if you don't take it apart and lubricate it yourself, because they do come dry from the factory, and that's going to create some metal to metal wear. That's why I always take my Hinderers apart when I get them before I carry them, to prevent wear, and I will keep everything tight. I'm going to take out the lock bar stabilizer. Going to go test it for magnetivity. Well, I think it is steel. I have a 265 pound magnet here, and it does stick a little bit. It comes off very easily. That's because there's like a very small percentage of steel in there, but usually that means it is not titanium, because titanium won't stick at all. And the same thing with the standoffs. I thought the standoffs were titanium, but they are steel. I mean, I thought if it was steel it would stick a lot stronger to a magnet, but it just barely sticks on there. So there's a small percentage of steel and then mostly something else. Like these have a higher percentage of steel, but real steel sticks a lot harder, like that. So I'm not sure what, if they were real steel. Alright, remember what these two look like? I'm going to put them in the ultrasonic cleaner and we'll see what they look like after that. Alright, there's what it looks like after ultrasonic cleaning. You can see it's a very bright color, much brighter than it was a second ago. There's for comparison. Well, it was actually darker than this one because this one hadn't got any fingerprints yet, but it's very bright and clean. And I was looking at the blade tang, and I'm surprised that they stonewashed the lock face. So they cut the lock face after sandblasting, and then they put it in the stone washer, and that's it. That would explain why it's a little grittier than most of, or all of my Hinderers. Focus this in and show you that the lock face is stonewashed. You can see the grind, but on the surface it's a stonewashed finish. It looks just like the rest of the blade. That, along with the sandblasted lock face on the titanium side, that's why it's real gritty and sticky. So it's going to take a lot of breaking in, because even the detent ball was sandblasted, and then that's sandblasted and stonewashed. You see that mark for the detent ball? It's going to take quite a while to wear in. See, it's been opened a few dozen times and there's like barely any wear yet. I didn't think you'd be able to see the grind lines that much after sandblasting and stonewashing, but you can see them pretty good. You can even see that the flats were brushed before they finished it too. Alright guys, just want to show you that, taking it apart so you can see what it looked like, all the parts there. I will see you guys later. Have a great rest of your weekend. Look at all the little pieces. Tough Thumbs was saying that once you take a knife apart, when you put it back together, it never seems to be as smooth because you see all the small pieces and it messes with your head. That hasn't been the problem with me. Everything I put together seems better.